How could I let Tinky Winky, Dipsy, Lala, and Poe get the best of me? It was 1998, and I knew that those darn Teletubbies were up to no good. Children everywhere were mesmerized by them, including my own. They were the only non-speaking characters on television at that time. My son was 9 months old, and he was the most delicious thing on earth. He had chubby cheeks, dimples, a great smile. He was even saying a few words by then. Mama, Dada, thank you, bye-bye. And everything was great until it wasn't. By December of that year, I knew that something was not right. I knew that something was off. But how could it be? Was what I was seeing real? My son began to do more and more things that I did not want to see or hear. He looked like a Teletubby in person, running around in circles, speaking in his own language, flapping his hands, becoming less and less engaged. The child that I knew a week ago was no longer there. It was difficult. I had an ache in my heart and a pit in the bottom of my stomach. My son became my personal OT project. As a professor of occupational therapy who specialized in pediatrics and has worked with children throughout the lifespan, I knew that I had seen this before. I knew that I had to do any and everything to help him overcome this. But why was everything so difficult? Why was everything such a challenge? Nothing was easy, and I thought that I had a good handle on things, but I was wrong. I remember sitting through his early intervention evaluations and being told he didn't qualify for an OT evaluation. I went home thinking, maybe this is a good thing, because maybe he's not as delayed as I thought. I had the same knot in my stomach all night, and I woke up the next morning, contacted the service coordinator, and demanded an OT evaluation. Her reply was that the county doesn't allow OT evaluations on children that young. And I said to her, I'm prepared to appeal this any and every way. So she said, I'll see what I can do. And so it began, a vicious circle of immediate denials, followed by my threats, and then eventually getting what I wanted. Everything was such a challenge. And then came high school. He could graduate at age 21 and become the typical autism label by graduating onto my couch. The school felt that they had great alternatives for me. Vocab, dayhab, rehab, anyhab, none of which I was interested in. I begged them to try alternative points of care, in which they did listen. Everything was such a struggle. I distinctly remember the high school put out an open ad for a summer job. They were hiring janitorial assistants at that time, maybe about 10 to 15 boys. Chris came home so excited because for the first time he could be like everyone else. We prepared for his interview, prepped him with questions. That morning he ran out the house so excited, his tie crooked, wearing a suit jacket because it was very important to make a great impression. He came home that day in tears. My heart sank once again because he wasn't hired. I contacted the school to inquire further what happened, and they said to me there were some concerns about him being around hazardous materials and chemicals. So I questioned further and said, well, wouldn't he be supervised? I was met with empty responses, so I dug further and contacted the school district and the principal. As you could tell by now, I asked way too many questions. I was met with 3 days of silence. No one responded. Each and every day I checked my email very anxiously. Finally, they said to me, "We'll hire him, but we can't pay him." The district is tapped right now. We hired all of the boys that we can, but he can work and get the experience. What I really wanted them to understand is that for my kid, being a janitor's assistant could be his life's work, but they didn't get it. The impact of my son's autism diagnosis has profoundly impacted my life in numerous ways. Initially, it was met with a sense of loss and grief and extreme sadness. However, it soon opened my eyes to a different side of love and patience and a deeper understanding of the human spirit. At this time, I met with a young man who's 25 years old and appears normal in many senses. He works 3 days a week at Home Depot. He attends ballet class twice weekly in New York City. He takes the train. He's such an easy, happy, go-lucky kid. We watch as his high school friends now are finishing college and post-professional programs. Some are teachers, accountants, doctors. He clings to those memories and relationships as they become further and further distant. He stalks them on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and gets in trouble for it. It's all too overwhelming. The things that keep me up at night is his existence without me in it. How will he manage his life, his needs, his care, Medicaid, Medicare, SSI, SSD, SNAP, EBT? It is all so overwhelming. As I look out to my new class of occupational therapy students and I put on my clinical hat and educate them on the needs of the neurodiverse population, I stress to them the importance of advocacy and the importance of standing by your clients. That has become my life's work. I heard from a student that graduated about 7 years ago, most recently. She called to inform me that she had resigned her position at the Department of Education and started her own company called Spectrum Lingo. I was floored to really understand the power that I have from the classroom. I'm not going to stand here and tell you that life doesn't end at the diagnosis, that things will get better, and that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. This is a hard road. It is difficult, it is challenging, and it is emotional. But at the same time, it fills you with a sense of gratitude and love that I cannot explain, to truly understand how resilient the human spirit is and the abilities and strengths of individuals of the neurodiverse population. Life is a dance. Sometimes you lead, sometimes you follow, but you learn as you go. Thank you.